Elton, you will never believe that their influence is so strong, or their sentences are so strong. But it is, and that's the topic of today. So let's go right into it. Hey, welcome back to another wonderful episode from C'est la vie, Natasha here. Thank you for tuning in and joining me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this wonderful podcast. Don't forget to download and go on Spotify and on Apple and leave a beautiful review, and also follow. It will be very, very, very great because I can grow. Please don't forget to do so. Topic of today is parenting. What my parents taught me, did it affect my life today? Well, me personally, I had the privilege to grow up with two parents. Maybe not they are not in the same household now, but I could see how it is to live with two parents. I could see how it is to understand. No matter if you have one parent or you have two parents, it doesn't matter really. The whole point is this: if you are a parent, it's very important that you teach your children the right way. So no matter if it's just one parent that teaches your child or if it's two parents that teach your child, the important thing is the result out of it. How does this child end up? Does this child end up being like you, or does the child end up being better than you, or does the child take the emotional damage that you had in their lives, or do you teach your child just to grow the righteous way so that later on you can get the result of it and you can earn what you reap basically. Parenting is therefore very important in life of people, and the question that I ask, especially if it's coming to regulations, for example. I remember two sentences that is always in my mind. The first one was, as long as you are under my roof, you go by my rules, or you get out. This was one of the questions that my dad always used to say when I didn't want to do what he wants. And the other question is, for example, if I borrow money from my mom, can I have $10? And she's like, do you think that the money comes from trees? And I'm like, Mom, it's just $10. Yeah, do you really think the money comes from trees? And I'm like, technically yes, because money is paper. And then she would slap she will run after me with a kitchen kitchen towel. She will run after me, and I'm like, yeah, but you asked that question. Yeah, I was a little rebel as a teenager, and I liked doing some jokes with my parents. But these are some questions that remains in my mind. And funny thing is that I am using the same questions now, and I was like, wow, their influence impact my life so much that some of these sentences, I use it even today with my own children. And they did not even live with my parents or something. They went from time to time to a holiday there and enjoy themselves, of course. And this make me question and ask myself, has my parents an influence over my life so much that I am using what they teach me to my kids? And if it's so, which part is positive and which part is negative? Well, let's go right into it. I will take me as an example because I don't know how different family goes, but in my perspective, I will give you guys the points that I realized that I use most of the time if coming to my children, and I will give you guys a detailed conclusion of my opinion from the question. Well, let's start with one typical thing. If it's coming to raising your child, the clothing part. Me personally, if it's coming to my parents' case, they always wear. Girl, you always have to wear responsibly, because you never know who's out there for you, and you never know how people see you out there. So my mother always used to check my bags to see if I have another pant or another skirt in it, or sometimes from time to time she needs to tell me, this is too short, this is too dirty, go and fix this shirt, it has a hole, before you even want to go out with this. And it's kinda, when I was a teenager, it was so annoying for me. But now I do exactly the same things with my children, and I was like, in the end of the day, what she told me helped me to see the world differently, because society, it's crazy out there. Everybody do what they want and how they want it, and most of them don't even have respect for each other. So if you put a certain style, automatically you are put in a box, and that's the mindset of many people. I know a lot of people like to dress the way they want, they like to go out the way they want, with holes, no holes, miniskirt, no miniskirt, whatever. But you cannot influence this view of somebody else to you. And that's the point that I realized that I am using, definitely if it's coming to my daughter. Every time if I go out, I check also the pockets and everything, because she likes to wear crazy things with holes in it, like rock and roll style. And I'm like, please, you can do it when you are with your friends, or you go out with your friends. But if it's coming to an institution that you go, like school, or we go together to the dentist, or we go together, you go outside with me, or you go outside to something important, you better dress the way you want people to see you, not dress like a garbage trash. That's one of the things that I was like, okay, the influence came back from my parents. The other point was morals, the way you talk to people, the way you address people, the way you are friendly to people or not. My dad especially always taught me, try your best to treat everybody the way you want to be treated. And if you can, just take a step back and do your own thing, and don't put your mouth in other situation where you don't belong to. And I quite frankly did not do that on the beginning. I must tell you guys, I was like a teenager. You always want to do the opposite of things that your parents tell you. But then I realized he's right. He has a huge point that is 100% right. And I'm starting doing it also as a grown-up. Surprisingly, what my parents always taught me is that the more you get rebellious or something, you will have a child that is exactly like you. That's what my mom always taught me, and this is exactly what is happening. I'm teaching the same skills that my dad taught me to my daughter concerning the way she treats people and everything. And surprisingly, on the beginning, it was exactly like me. She was exactly like me. She was answering exactly like me. She was taking it exactly the same way I was taking it. But then I teach her with examples, which my parent did not teach me, with examples, and she gets it. And that's when I realized the skills what my dad taught me is right, the points are right, but I did not have examples to it. I did not have positions that I can see as an example when I was younger. So I had a huge issue to maintain that behavior, to maintain that strategy for a long run. But now I realize it's important to have it, and in my case, I use the influence of my parents and switch it with a little salt of my own, basically, and make it understandable for her. So basically, the influence is there, but my own interpretation of it is into it. So this is what comes with morals. Other point is also with friends. Friends, boyfriends, all these things. My parents really, 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 they had a huge influence if it's coming to this. This one I cannot lie. Who I'm messing with, when I'm going, how I come, which were the parents of the people, which were the parents of the other people, can they meet them before I go there? All this, my parents went through all these things, and this influenced me if it's coming nowadays, but I wished I knew it earlier, because the way they were strict with me at that time when I was younger, I wild out. Meaning, as soon as I turned 21, I was in college, I wild out. I meet people just randomly. I just go with them on the weekend for party. I never knew them. I just met them on one party, and then we go to the other party, and then university. And I think that was put me in the situation that I almost mess up my life. And that put me also in the situation right now where I go in a new relationship. I go with a new relationship with a child out of wedlock. And I also made bad decisions concerning my partner at that time. Now I am better at it. I have also almost the ring on it, let's say it like this. But I could avoid the whole drama if I just chose the right friends for me, if I just chose the right partner for me. But because, like I said, I was in a golden cage when I was younger, I did not see the reason why they put me in that golden cage. And later on now, I see why. And I must tell you guys, if I could turn back time with what I know now, I would do so, and maybe change one of two things, of course. And if it's coming to this, I definitely do something different. If it's coming to my daughter, same thing. I use the whole tricks, influence, my memories, what I went through to educate my daughter. I don't close doors, but I educate her so that if she made the same mistake I did, she will not come to me and tell me, but it's your fault, because I never had the opportunity to meet people, because I never had the opportunity to have a boyfriend, and all these things. I try to educate her so that she knows her value. She knows how important it is to remain pure as possible. She knows how important it will be for her to grow in a righteous way and treat people the righteous way and treat herself the righteous way, so that she can, when she get married one day, she can be proud of what she did in the last years and don't be ashamed of stupid decisions that she made. Even though it can happen, of course, I won't say no, but it will not affect her life so dramatically like I had in my situation. Therefore, education at this point is the key that I do. So as you see, if we go, I have also the last part, but I will just generalize everything right now. If you see the influence that's coming into us from environment, from people, from family, from friends, from the school system, from social connections, if you see how many influence we get everywhere, the more it is important to be on the same level with your children, because of all this influential thing that comes into your life. They can get easily confused, and if they don't have like a common ground with one family member, at least they will believe every single thing people tell them, and they will fall into traps and into dangerous situations that can cost them their livelihood, that can cost them their virginity, that can cost them their youth, their beautiful youth. And this is something that is so important nowadays, because their youth is so attached to the society now that everybody wants to destroy it in a certain way. So I think, me personally, I really love the influence that my parents had, just because my parents' influence was on a positive way. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are parents down there that don't deserve to be parents. There are mothers down there that doesn't deserve to be mothers. There are fathers down there where you regret that they are born in this earth, basically. So you have to really take time to learn people. You have to take time to acknowledge people. And if you are in the situation where you don't have parents that you can hold on and you can have that positive influence, this is one of the things where a lot of people, they get distracted because they can't trust nobody in the end, because they don't even have their own parents to trust. And this is the sad truth, unfortunately, for many people. If they don't have that influence, one thing I can tell to them or say to them now is, try to make your own reality as good as possible, so that you can be the one that break the generational curse. You can be the one that break it and do it better for your own children. So if you don't have influence like this, go in a community where you can learn that kind of influence. If you don't have a mother like I had, that teach you how to cook, and if you start to be annoyed because she always tell you to cook this, and you start to flip, and she of course take the kitchen towel and slap it on your head because you start your drama, and then you continue cook, and later on you realize, oh, thank you, mom, now I know how to cook. If you don't have experience, then take a cooking class where you think you feel safe. Go to a community where you think you can trust the people to a certain extent that you can learn from them. So if you find a good community, if you find a good circle where you think you can learn how to be a good mother for your future child, how to be a good father for your future child, how to be even a good husband, a good wife for your future, to represent your next generation, then I will say go for it. Try this community and learn from them. And that's when I come to the last point, is money. A lot of people, if it's coming to the parents and everything, a lot of people don't really learn how to manage, how to generate, and how to guide, to move with money. And this is one of the things that I realized my parents did not teach me. They did not teach me how I can handle money. So I didn't really had the opportunity to learn about money, to learn how to manage money, to learn how to manage a credit card and all these things. And this, as soon as I was 21 and I was going to life, I always have that deficit, meaning I really had that huge spending drama, and I needed to control it. So I went to a course and I learned how I manage money well. I went to a class, then I learned how to generate my money, and I learned. But I wished when I was younger I got these lessons from my parents too, because this is so important. If you leave the net, even if you go and marry somebody else, you need to know how you manage your household income, your household money. If you have somebody who work and you don't need to work full time, you can work part time,
but you have somebody who work and he gives you the household money, you need to know how to manage it. And I wasn't there yet. I'm still learning even now, and this is a deficit where I realize, okay, I need to work on this one if it's coming to my kids, because they need to know how to manage their money. I don't want them to be broke or full with debt or all these things, passing through all these things that I went through when they have the opportunity to have money. So these are the points that I realized influenced my life when it's coming to my parents. If we want to make a nice conclusion at this point, I will say that all the things that my parents teach me, I am using it right now, and I'm actually grateful for that. I, of course, put my little twist into it if it's coming to certain situations. Like I said, with money, I'm teaching myself all from zero. If it's coming to friends and behavior and clothing, all these little nuances that they teach me, I am using it. I just put my little twist into it, and I believe that it's important to do it so. I don't believe that what your parents teach you is exactly what you're supposed to do with your own kids, because I think not just the generations has changed. We have more liberal people right now. People think they can be everything and anything. Traditional values remains. This is the thing. Even though the world is changing, no matter what, traditional value remains. So you have to try to make that traditional values work for the current environment. And it has to be with little twist. Like I said, if it's coming to money, for example, you have to put a little twist in it. Before, you didn't have to worry about it as a wife. If you are at home, the husband is fixing everything and anything. But nowadays, a lot of people have two salaries that comes in. It's hard to find a marriage that is just working with one salary. There has to be at least 1.5 salaries coming in so that the household can stand, the mortgage can be paid, and etc. etc. Therefore, the traditional values has to have a little twist so that it still works. Also, if it's coming to people that doesn't have parents, the traditional values has to have a little twist so that the marriage works or the lifestyle works. So, and we have to learn not to give up on the beginning. This is also a thing. My parents, even every time if I wasn't good at sport and I wanted to give up, they let me try 1,000 times until I made it. So failure wasn't an option. And if you fail, at least you know you have tried 1,000 times. And this is the thing. A lot of people give up nowadays very fast. Like I said in my podcast before this one, microwave society. Everything has to be fast and everything has to be perfect right on the beginning, and it's not the case. So if you want the family values and the traditional values that your parents teach you to work for your next generation, me personally, I believe you have to put a little twist in it so that it suits to the current environment we lived in. It suits to the current society we lived in. It has also to be able to be manageable between you and the person that you live with and the person that you want to spend the rest of their life with, so that when you both are growing, if the person did not have parents, you can put some knowledge into the relationship, more knowledge into the family values, and so that you and him, or him and you both can generate a common ground, so that for your future children, you will have the perfect mix of a good, influential book of knowledge for your children, so that they can take it to the next generation also and put their own little twist into it. Well, thank you so much, guys, for listening to the beautiful podcast. I'm really grateful that you took the time to listen to Endure, and I hope that you could take my advice that I give into the podcast. You can take it for your personal goal. Please don't forget to like, share, and follow me also in all the social medias that I put on my on my feed below. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen. Thank you so much. We're gonna see each other next week, Wednesday again. I don't know when exactly I'm gonna put it online, but it will be definitely on a Wednesday. And I thank you guys so much for taking the time to listen, and we see each other next week, Wednesday, with another hot topic. See ya. Bye bye.